My job is to get it where it goes and move it quickly to get the contaminants out of our town. So the sooner we get cleansed, the better we'll all, health-wise, we'll be doing good.
Yeah.
It's not our first flood, it's like our fourth dangerous flood.
You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I have brought in some pictures. You can also see this at the museum in, the museum here in town.
The Black River?
Yeah, this is what the mill looked like in 1973. But this was water, not so much dirt as this last one was. It was unusual. I really found that Irene was worse with damage to roads. This one, it was destructive in both areas, but not so much roadway.
Mm-hmm. What year was that?
This is 1973. So, you know where the Timber Inn is? The Port Timber Inn. 4 times.
Everybody know where the Timber Inn is?
That's the motel down by Sam's Restaurant.
Right down here, on the right-hand side.
This is also 1973. They have been flooded severely 4 times. We had a mild one, a mild flood in 78, and then Irene, and now this one. I don't think they gave a name for this one. This was somewhat isolated, where Irene was the entire state of Vermont.
Well, we hope it's not every year.
Or every 10 years.
They used to call them 100-year floods.
And
Because they would happen maybe every 100 years.
This was like only, what, 13 years?
It almost happened twice.
The second time? Yeah, I mean, it keeps raining, but what was happening all summer before this hit?
Rain.
All the time. So our grounds were saturated, so they just couldn't take it. That's why it seemed, even though it only rained for a couple of days, there was no place for the water to soak up, so it took us. There was a lot of trees, and they were in the lakes, and they couldn't be touched for a while. It's an environmental thing. We had to give the fish a chance to survive and hide and get secure, but when you remove a tree, I disagree with it, but it's an environmental thing. You disrupt it, and you're not giving it a chance to settle. Now, the waters were clearing. For 3 weeks, they've been pulling away from just the stuff running the banks and getting them out of there. But they have to be super careful and have permission. Up by Woodstock and Queechee, they're now in the lakes, pulling the debris out. Their water was really clear. You can't remove the rocks. The rocks are what filter it and cleanse it. So it's a tricky business that you really have to wait and get permission to remove anything.
And doing it right by Goodman's.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And they're doing it over in Fire Station.
there now, but it's been over a month. So they had to listen to the environmentalist and they really needed permission. I haven't personally, but the Brat team, every Saturday for the last 3 weeks, they know where certain things are, but it kept raining so the water would rise, they had to stay out. They brought out pontoon boats, kayaks, canoes, televisions. So when it destroyed a home, it took all the belongings and it lands in the water. So it's a slow process, but they will get it clean again. So I'm going to show you some pictures of what the month has been like for us as far as people's belongings. And this is literally people, because of mold, they had to destroy all of their belongings. These are all mattresses. And that is only in a couple of days. I took in 101 appliances. So all your parents that lost because you have the refrigerators, the furnaces, your hot water tank. Once the water and the moisture get in, they're no good. So it's very costly. So we did it in stages. Like in the beginning, that's just a small area. But a lot of volunteers came from all over to come and help us. When consequently, I have taken in, I would say about 55 tons of people's belongings that I had to process and get rid of. So 2 weeks into it, I'm starting to get people's homes. I'm getting all their couches and chairs. Because once the mold hits, everything in your house has to be destroyed. You can't ever use it again. And I did collect hazardous waste. So that's another toxin that landed in the water. If your basement was flooded, you had paints down there, all kinds of chemicals, this ended up in our water system, and I took it with permission with the state, and the state also, they're paying for it. As a rule, we pay to get rid of this kind of thing. All hardware stores take certain items. That's a small group, and I loaded a 15-yard container, which is about the size of your board here. I filled it 3 times. This area right here, all of this debris was out in my road, and it was about 16 feet high. We were having troubles getting containers because we weren't the only town that flooded. So when they're contaminated, all of these that look muddy, I have to take them, clean them, seal them in a black bag because we don't want other people to have to touch them. Electronics leak when they get wet and damaged. And right now I have 13 ready to be picked up today, 13 of these very large boxes and pallets. And I collect these every day.
So one of the things that's interesting that Patty shared too is, so
That's the thing.
when people come up there with their cars and then they start throwing things into different containers, but they don't take care, extra care. There's workers up there sometimes that, will stop you. No, that doesn't go there, that doesn't go there, whatever. Why do you think they have to do that? So if, like, on one end of the big building is for recycling materials like aluminum foil, cans, plastic bottles, and plasticware, paper. That all goes there, but if you suddenly throw in batteries in that,
It will go kaboom.
it makes it, it's not, you can't use it as well. Or if they throw in garbage with it. Like some people will come up and they say, oh, this is paper. And you go, yeah, but there's all sorts of food in there. They'll put in napkins that have food still in there, or they're so totally wet. And you go, no, that's not going to be able to be recycled. That is garbage. And that goes at the other end. But what you find is it's amazing when people come up, the amount of garbage that they used to take out from their homes, which was a lot, now it's very small because you're recycling so much.
Yeah, that's why when you're shopping, as you grow into adulthood, don't buy something that it cannot be recycled, and maybe it'll go away, like styrofoam packaging. They're getting, you know what an egg carton is? That's made out of paper. It's been recycled 4 times. They can use what just like an egg carton material to make it instead of, to use it to pack around an item instead of using styrofoam, which it's one of the most expensive things to recycle.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing in Vermont, now the plastic bags have gone away pretty much, we're getting less and less styrofoam. I'm gonna fill you in on something new I'm doing.
Oh, great.
Plastic bags
Yep.
are going to be collected. Do you know what Trex decking, your really nice
yeah.
decking? They're going to be added to decking to make them go away. It's one less thing. But it's going to adhere to the decking. It's not going to change the value or the wearing of it. But I'm going to do a class here from a lady out of Pennsylvania. I don't want to say too much because it hasn't happened yet. And because we no longer use plastic bags, you still get them. You buy a package of cookies.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Well, you can get them in New Hampshire, that's
And
correct.
actually, we just got this computer, and how much plastic was in that?
How it is plastic the full.
Or those little pillows that come, the little, they're full of air. That's plastic. That's a plastic bag. So I'm hoping this is going to take off, this program in Vermont, and we will distribute, give these plastic materials back to them.
Tristan?
Some stores now here in Ludlow are giving out paper bags, and now they're charging 10 cents for them too.
Yes, they are. That's why you get your own.
Yeah.
Use cloth bags. You can always wash them if they get dirty.
So one thing that my wife and I tried this summer is that Springfield Library was collecting plastic bags that didn't have garbage in it or anything else, and you brought it to them at the library. And then they were making benches out of it. And so we saved all of our plastic bags and brought it down to the Springfield Library when we made a trip to the store there or the pet store or whatever else, and we would do that. I don't think they're doing it anymore, but they did a few benches from that.
Absolutely. It's almost like a Trek material.
Yes.
But this is something new, and I'm very excited. I haven't, the class is coming up, but I'm very
Because
excited.
you know how, you see in your garbage how many plastic bags and things still go in that. And that's a shame, because where does that go then from the trash?
Yes,
Into
it
the ground.
does.
And how long does it take for that? What happens to it when it's in the ground, Gabe?
It stays there.
Plastic disintegrates.
It takes extremely long, like when it
65 million years.
It does. Like when we get rain up there, I can pull 60, 70-year-old plastic bags out of the earth. They may fall apart, but they have not disintegrated. And that's when it used to be a dump. It was, all that was buried. So like right now, we're taking on a lot of culverts. I know a lot of people lost the roadway. And it's plastic. They can be ground up and recycled, but this town sustained a lot of road damage. And all of these, the roads are bad. Like I live in Plymouth right now, and I have to go over through the woods to get to work because our main road is damaged and being fixed this week. But it's amazing to see the destruction up there. But these are all the culverts, just in a small area in Ludlow. But again, we've had a tremendous amount of volunteers that have helped put our town back together. It's pretty amazing this time.
Yeah.
They're still here, a lot of them.
So, Patty,
Yes.
first of all, thank you for all you do for our community. There's a lot of people who don't appreciate what you and the workers up there that do work up there. They are taking care of all of this stuff for our community. You know what? She does a lot of educating up there. All of her workers up there. How many workers do you have up there?
Right now, I have 4.
4 people.
Him and I ran it for a long time, just 2 of us. And it was a lot of physical labor, because we still don't really have any machines. I'm borrowing the tractors, that's why I want to buy my own. Because we have to count on the highway to plow us out. We shovel a lot, we pick up items that are bigger than us.
And sometimes some dangerous items.
Yes,
And you're very careful with all of that,
yes.
right? So we want to thank Patty for coming today, taking time. This is a work day for her.
It is.
And she took the time to come and speak to us about this. Hopefully you got something out of it. And also, we want to thank her for doing the job that she's doing there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.